Okay, looks like we're on. Good evening, everyone. We're ready to start up Ace Attorney again. We are about ready to start the final trial of the second game. So let us get started. March 22nd, 9:47 a.m. Adrian did it. Here's our accused, Matt on guard. Hey, Noble. I hope so. That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. Mountain of evidence? I know, last time did. Especially since Ragnats came in like right at the last minute before I was about to end it. I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer, dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Oh, are you referring to when I went long with Mega Man 10? Yeah, kind of the same thing. Oh, hello, Mia. We must get a complete acquittal today. I know, but I can't focus on Maya's situation right now, or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Yeah, the scumbag who kidnapped Maya, he's only giving us one day to do it. It's him. This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Oh? Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts, and even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait. The kidnapper sent me a present. Mr. Lawyer, dude, who is that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? Francie's not here yet? Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Ungard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. Yeah, where's Francie? I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Ms. Von Karma? You're asking me? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor, please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karm has This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. Oh, shit. What? Is that the present? Ooh. Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. Yeah. It's a present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Whew. Huh? You're... I thought he'd show up. Hey, Miles! Edgy! Your Honor. Due to the circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Ungard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. Hey, Edgy. Been a while. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Hey, Dick. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct, for now. For now? Oh yeah, the guy's... Yeah, he's kind of on thin ice, isn't he? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn my badge, sir. Oh yeah. Detective Gumshoe. The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. If you want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah. It would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Okay. The murder happened after the Hero of Heroes awards ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Oh? After the awards ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and defendant went alone to their rooms, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Okie doke. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. Ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m., and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, Detective. Victim Juan Carita was found dead in his hotel room. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's a defendant. Matt Ungard's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she'll grace us with our presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Ungard. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see. And that's when she found the victim's body. The cause of death, I believe he was definitely murdered. The cause of death, wasn't that because Mr. Carita was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real pro's attention will be drawn here to this bandana. Banana? His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Oh, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Really, Judge? Then what about the knife? Seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. Oh, so he was strangled first and then stabbed after to mislead us on the cause of death? We have a crafty murder on our hands here. Hey, Coolio. Judge is on point as always. First we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. And why'd you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. Oh, yeah. Oh. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. So his guitar was missing. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? Oh, we thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. So much for my theory, then. There is some water on the top of the lid, though. Was something spilled on it? How we later found out the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Oh, is the audio too low? I did notice when I did last week when I did Mega Maker that when I was playing it back, the in-game audio was really quiet. Do I need to turn this up a little bit? How's that? What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Carita, apparently only taking the case with him, sir. Why would he do that? You mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt Ungard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well, Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Matt Ungar and Juan Kurita were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jamma Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and found in Mr. Ungar's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Oh. So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Victim's blood and Ungar's fingerprints. In the grip, gate water is engraved. And there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? This button is also covered in blood. Yes, and we know the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Well, this is all pretty damning. All of this points very clearly to the defendant, does it not? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow, and I think I've already seen it. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Each other. Wait just a second here. Mr. Ungar was beating Mr. Kurita in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but yeah, he did win that contest. Which means then, in the defendant's eyes, the victim wasn't a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. He's got a point. Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective? It's not, well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive. Detective, I am beginning to see why you were fired. No, not you too, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. No! Now, detective, let's continue with the testimony. No, not my poor pension, too. Oh, poor Dick. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. What about what I was saying? Hello, anyone? The defendant's fingerprints were on the knife. How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, he didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There is no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So, is the defendant the owner of this knife, then? The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Hold up. Nope, stop this shit. Gatewater is engraved in the knife. It was from the hotel itself, so no, it wasn't. It wasn't brought beforehand. Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? It has a Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel? The Gatewater Hotel? Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that's very true. This is a very big... Oh. Well, Edgy isn't phased. Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that's dumb enough not to realize this. Ooh, but I didn't know. Oh. Poor Dick. The question is, where did this knife come from? Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Corito's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal here before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There's a knife and a fork on the table. Ah. Then where in the world did this knife come from? Are you going to say it came from Onguard's room? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Onguard. Oh yeah, there's a knife missing. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Onguard's knife was missing. Mr. Onguard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he'd used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Well, crap. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There's quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown into the court. Evidence not yet shown. He means evidence the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court? We better. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. Oh, shit. Look. Yeah, when he says we have one chance, he frickin' means it. You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence you must show to the court? This is a wine glass, is it not? Yeah, the wine glass on the table. Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. Yeah, right there. The scene's a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup's all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that's sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over, along with everything else, was this wine glass. Right. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Oh, well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion? You don't need my opinion. Because there's no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Anders, for example. She could have easily been so shocked she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Anders really have set that glass down without thinking? If I appear weak here, the trial's over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. They just might fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it's been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There was only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were of one Adrian Andrews. What? So they were hers. That is why I said the person who discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Anders was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Kurita. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I've come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution's provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? He could have ended the trial, but he's not. Oh no, not you. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Oh no. Witness, your name and occupation. Gotcha. I wonder what happened to the calm composure he had earlier. Oh, edgy boy, it's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet? It was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand. I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today, I'm gonna tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Oh, shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps! Yes, ma'am. No, by all means, interrupt her, please! Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean you were a fan of the victim? Look, everyone's crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me, I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Carita. But those two are the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well, please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Oh boy. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was out of the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard, mad on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. It was, huh? So Mr. On Guard came out from the victim's room. See, it has to be him. He's the murderer. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. So I was interested in finding out. Something you were interested in, and just what was that? It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. Oh, and Edgy Poo, of course. Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? Does it have anything to do with... Does it have anything to do with this? But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to her testimony later. Looks like we should enforce it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Good job. I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. Oh? Then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Kurita's room? I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am. Yes, well, that would explain why her age was not included in the report. In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct? That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. That sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room, he was... Yes, he was... Oh, I'm too scared I can't say his name out loud. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Francisca... Yes, please. I do agree. Well, I guess I could tell you since he was such a bad boy anyway. It was On Guard, Matt On Guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. Was it now? You saw my client. Are you sure about that? Yes, see? Really? Knowing Brat, when I say I saw someone, I saw that person. Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. And by that, I think we mean... Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Now, what was it? Oh, yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket. Oh, he was wearing that at the detention center, too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men. Right. So, Mr. Wright? Was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? Was it now? I think it was. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright. Witness, please. Ah, well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must... Ah, yes, I know where you're going with this. He's wearing his flashy racing jacket, but... it wasn't... the button from the murder wasn't found on his jacket. It was found in his samurai costume. Ms. Oldbag. What? Don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? It's button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. Give it here! Give it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this! Wow, she really is a diehard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Engarde's body during a full-body search. See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Engarde. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai hakama pants. See? See? And Engarde's the nickel samurai! But you said he was wearing his racing jacket. Witness, now it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Engarde, was wearing his usual racing jacket? I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe you think I was the most gorgeous woman ever. Instead, it was a ridiculous-looking outfit. This outfit's hideous, right? You got a tape recorder stuck. It's heavy. So heavy, I wish I would switch seas ages ago. But keep that dream of life for all those kids out there. I work with a hard face, so you understand. Now take a look at this mirror. Your clothes are about as interesting as documentary on curling. You should take up a tip or 10 for edgy poo. I'll hold your tongue still for just 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Engarde the man, but Mr. Engarde the Nickel Samurai. So this is gonna be a repeat of last time where you didn't actually see him, you just saw someone wearing his costume. But when you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. Ms. Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy poo, don't you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important to agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. Engarde. Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Youngins today, I told you there's no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and what I say is the truth. Oh, well then, okay. At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. There's the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not? Not too long ago? Then let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What'd you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I, wanted to be Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So what? Say! And look where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you? Well, what I said earlier, who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Uh-huh. Since when did court become theatrics over testimonies? Since the beginning of this series. All that matters is that man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough? Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. And why would that be? That way no one could see his face, of course. But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you'd think the costume would make him stand out all the more. Yeah, you're right about that. You're such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say. Isn't that what you're always doing to me? I got it. Maybe it was more troubles for him to change in and out of his costume. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime. Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing. And that included the Jammin' Ninja? Of course it included him. That's why when On Guard came out of Dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought. I see. Well, anyway. He must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. So let me ask you one last time. The person you saw, it really was the Nickel Samurai. As showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning? Can I throw in the towel yet? You don't need to think too hard on this one. Huh? There's a contradiction in testimony sitting in plain sight. Yes. And I do see it. The question is what that contradiction means for us. I have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. Now, I think... Yeah, he does have gloves in the costume. But if his fingerprints were supposedly on the knife... Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case? You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Meaning... Is that what you're driving at? That's exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? Whose car are we driving? If Mr. On Guard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off. Bingo! Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? Yeah, why would he do that intentionally? There's no way he'd do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. But then, if that were the case, why would he bring the knife with him? But the murder still did take place. It's well known there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I've heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Up until this point, are there any problems with this theory? Yes. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Engard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. This knife. This was used by Mr. Engard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant had no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. I see. Order! Order, I say! Order in the court! Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? To frame Engard. To frame my client, Mr. Engard, of course. To frame? Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume. And if that were true, there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Ugh. Witness! Looks like I made your life a tiny bit more difficult, Edgy Poo? Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Mr. Engard with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of the doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. Oh? Yeah, I think she wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. Alright then, who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security. I have a feeling you were waiting for Mr. Juan Kurita, am I right, witness? The way you think, you're a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? So Old Bag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Kurita. Maybe, Phoenix, maybe the Old Bag was waiting around for that person. Yeah, Adrian. It's who I think me is hinting at, certainly possible. Miss Old Bag, you were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Engard's manager. But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor. Oh, this is... Well, this is... Oh, I see. The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing. Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's... Adrian Anders? Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I could throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff, then. Witness! What in the world are you? Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course. But what for? Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that. Uh-huh. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here? I really don't want to do this, however, I cannot simply let this point slide. I see. Very well then, witness, please testify about this secret information. Get ready. This is gonna take the wind out of you, youngins. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this, really. It's not like we're 10 years old. Are you sure she isn't? That on guard is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret, you got that? Nobody else but you and me know it, okay? The defendant sent his manager? What a distasteful topic for this court. What? Nobody's above gossip. Yeah, she did say she stopped counting after 20. And isn't there a saying, the truth is never pleasant? Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Anders person? We have looked into this matter, and found the truth that article proposes is in fact baseless gossip. But should this be true, then this proves the defendant did bear ill will toward the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right, on guard's nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, you gotta burn old bags with fire. Okay. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Oh dear, Phoenix. Poor one by causing a scandal. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. So what do you mean by I took action? Like I already told you, I was lying in wait close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was gonna capture her and teach her a good lesson. Something you youngins need. You were going to teach her a good lesson? I was gonna make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. Like this! No, stop! Well, it's too bad that woman didn't come through the door that night. It's top secret, got that? No one else but you and me know yet. Wait. What, I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? That's because I'm a pro. Yeah, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drill a hole in my brain, you'll never find out. How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information? If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got this secret information, you won't get to go home today. Edgy Poo, what are you doing? Help me! What do I have to do with this? Just do this for me, you'll get your reward. I don't want your reward, but you don't leave me much of a choice. The witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me on reckless babbling. As long as we don't know where this information came from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on this line of questioning. Where did Old Bag get her inside information? There has to be something I can use to figure it out. Sounds like just another tidbit of gossip, doesn't it? But you can't just ignore it either. It makes your client look bad either way. I don't think I heard anything out of the ordinary just now. There has to be something we can catch her on. Yeah, and when I find it, I'm gonna press the heck out of it. Secret information. So, no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Ms. Oldbag? What? Why are you looking at me like that? Stop it! Witness? I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it? Yeah, she took Lotta's camera. The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing? On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her impressions about the relationship between the victim and Ms. Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No, I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless? Ah, that's it. That's the note. Yeah, you totally gave yourself away, bitch. No, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy! Then you're the one who took Miss Hart's note. I'm a huge fan of ones, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil On Guard. She said so herself. On Guard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy Boo, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just this once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Fuck no! If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible lonely trash can. That's all. You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Ms. Oldbag. I don't believe the note is the only thing you stole that night. Ooh. I don't think it's that. Glossy. Suicide. What was... Okay. Ms. Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? Right. A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie's $1,600 camera disappeared on me." Right, she took the camera itself, too. Why, witness! What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it's only logical that you have the camera, too. It's like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for? That's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know? I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people. Ah, yes, borrow. I think your definition of borrow is a little off. I saw that one's business card, and that's why I noticed it said, Slime Bag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of picture she'd taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. Bailiff, check the camera's photos. Hurry! Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you, that's the guy I saw. Or at least somebody wearing the Nickel Samurai's costume. This proves the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Ongard clearly stated that... Ah, yes. Yes, Noble is on the ball. At the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that's the case, then this Nickel Samurai is... the defendant. Yeah, because... If we take a look at this photo of the Nickel Samurai and compare it, and we compare it to this photo, yeah, the pants. Look, this person is much shorter. The pants don't fit. How'd it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We've examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? Fuck no! If this photo really is decisive, we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, I put Maya's life in jeopardy. Yeah. Yeah, we've got... Yeah, Maya's life is at stake too here. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There is no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Oh, hell yes! Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? Well... I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot? Especially when it counts. Now then, let's hear your objection. Oh god, look at that penalty. Again, okay, but we don't need it. Okay, yeah, look at... I'd like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be the one thing. However, you can't. And? What's that mean? Toxic fan of a very well-known series holding a grudge against the company. Oh, that could be any number of people. The costume person in this photo could not have been Matt Ungard. What's the meaning of this? I wonder if you care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Yeah. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama. Right. His socks. You can see his socks. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding up his hakama just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. Yeah, he doesn't seem very fazed. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Well, he is kind of just standing in for Francie. Along for the ride. What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack. Then I haven't damaged his case at all? Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt Ongard, then everything the prosecution's tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this. What? Right, I have something I want to ask you. I think you've proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Ongard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah. Why is he so calm? Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph? Oh, that's easy. Adrian Andrews. Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who that nickel samurai is, it's none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. Ongard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Ongard that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. The knife. A certain knife with Mr. Ongard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon? Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Carita. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Order! Order! It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it! This is kind of bad for us. It is? Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means the trial will go on for another day. Oh! Oh, you're right. One more day. Oh! Maya. If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya... Oh no. Now then, shall we set Ms. Andrews' testimony for tomorrow? What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. No, fuck no, I object! Stop this shit! Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I cannot do that. We must hear Miss Andrews' testimony. Huh? Edgy. I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth. Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. And what do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What?! Did he already do it? Yeah, Edgeworth is... He's... What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She's the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. Okay. let me just cut it real quick here, and I'll see you guys in just a couple minutes.